Rain fell like sharp nails on the broken cities of Earth. Once tall towers were now blackened bones. Streets were filled with ash, metal, and the silence of defeat. No birds, no engines, no voices. Only wind and memories in the heart of a ruined city. A man crawled out of the rubble. His face was covered in blood and soot. He wore a torn soldier's jacket with a red H on the shoulder, Human Defense Corps. His name was Captain Elias Rain. He had no backup, no signal, no command. And he wasn't supposed to be alive. Above him, the sky pulsed with a strange blue light. A Vrexil cruiser alien tech, sharp as blades and 3 times the size of any Earth aircraft, hovered silently, scanning the ruins with a humming beam. Elias didn't move. He knew one breath too loud could get him vaporized. But he also knew he had to reach Site Black. It was the last place on Earth that held any hope. Site Black wasn't on any map. It was buried under a mountain, deep in a forgotten military vault. Long ago, the scientists whispered about something hidden there. Something old. Something not entirely human. The Vrexil hadn't found it yet. Elias limped toward the mountains, every step filled with pain. His leg was burned. His arm was broken. But he had seen too much, lost too many. He wasn't going to die until he warned someone. Or woke something far away. Inside a silent control room, a light blinked for the first time in years. Genetic pulse detected. Human distress active. The machine scanned the nearby sectors. Most were lifeless. But one zone, Sector 9, showed signs of movement. Faint but rising. It wasn't a human signal. It was older. In the darkness of Sector 9A, something stirred. A large door, once sealed by biolock and plasma steel, hissed softly. Inside, the air shifted. A cocoon-like shell pulsed slowly in the center of the room. Strange, silver wires wrapped around it, like vines on ancient stone. Inside the shell was a figure human in shape, but with great wings folded tightly across. Its back, sharp feathers of carbon fiber shimmered in the low light. The body was covered in pale armor, grown like bone. Not machine, not flesh. Something between. Her name was Alira, and she was waking. 20 years ago. During the first wave of the Vrexil invasion, humanity had tried everything: tanks, jets, plasma cannons. Nothing worked. So in desperation, one program was born, Project Archangel. It was shut down quickly, too unstable, too inhuman, but one prototype had been created. Then the bombs fell. The skies burned. And Alira was forgotten. Until now. As the cocoon cracked, her eyes opened, piercing white with no pupils. She didn't speak. She didn't move right away. But she felt the world again. Fire, smoke, blood. The war hadn't ended. It had only gotten worse. Her wings unfolded slowly, feathers slicing through the air with deadly sharpness. She stepped out of the chamber like a statue come to life. Not fully human. Not fully beast. But something stronger than both. In the mountains above her chamber, Elias finally reached the cliff's edge. He fell to his knees, coughing hard, almost laughing at the pain. But when he looked up, he saw her, not clearly. Just a shape backlit by glowing blue dust, wings wide like a fallen angel in reverse. She was walking toward him, slow and powerful. He reached for his sidearm, but something inside him stopped. She wasn't here to kill. Alira looked down at the injured soldier. Her voice came out flat, yet clear. "Why do you bleed, human?" Elias coughed, spitting blood, because they didn't finish the job. Her head tilted. "Are they still here? The Vrexil?" "Yeah, they're everywhere." Alira looked up to the sky. A faint hum buzzed in the distance. The alien cruiser was returning. She turned to Elias. "Then I must return too." "Return to what?" he asked weakly. She raised one hand, her fingers glowing faintly with inner light. "To war." Before Elias could respond, the cliff shook. The Vrexil cruiser had spotted movement and fired. A beam of energy struck the mountain, exploding in heat and fire, but where the fire cleared, Elias was gone. Shielded by her wings, blackened, burning, but unbroken. She stood in front of him, eyes glowing now like twin stars. And behind her, the wind swirled, lifting dirt, stone, and memory. Humanity had lost hope, but their winged guardian had just begun to rise again. Elias opened his eyes to smoke, heat, and pain, but he wasn't dead, not crushed, not burned. He blinked through the dust and saw her standing before him. The alien beam had struck hard. Rocks were scattered everywhere, the cliffside cracked in two, but she had shielded him. Her wings, burnt and still glowing, had taken the full blast. Feathers of steel and light fell slowly around them. She turned slightly to face him. "You are alive," she said. I shouldn't be," Elias replied, breathing hard. "You hid behind me," she said flatly. "I didn't have a choice." Alira said nothing. Her eyes scanned the sky, calculating. The Vrexil cruiser was circling back, engines howling like a dying beast. It had marked them. The next shot would be final. She crouched low, then launched into the air with a sound like thunder tearing the clouds. Elias couldn't believe what he saw. Her wings spread wide, beating once, twice, then she vanished into the sky like a missile. A moment later, a flash of blue light erupted above. Then silence. He thought she had been hit, but the cruiser wobbled, and then it fell, twisting, crashing, exploding across the mountainside like a dying star. She landed moments later, her armor cracked but her eyes burning brighter than before. Smoke curled from her back. She didn't speak. She just looked at the wreckage, then back at Elias. "Your enemy is weak," she said. Elias tried to laugh but coughed instead. "Yeah, real weak." She tilted her head. "What is left of your kind?" He looked away. "Scattered," he said. "A few resistance cells, underground. Some in the forests, some hiding in the ruins. But most just gone." Alira stood silently. "I was headed to the last relay post," Elias said. "Try to find survivors. Or command, if there's anything left." "You will take me," she said. "To the relay?" She nodded once. "I don't even know if it's still active." "We will see," she replied. He pushed himself up slowly, using the broken pipe as a cane. His leg was nearly useless. "I can't go fast." "I will carry you." Before he could protest, she lifted him like he weighed nothing. Her arms were cold, but steady. Her wings folded slightly, shielding them from the wind as she moved. They traveled across blackened forest and scorched roads. No birds, no bugs, just silence and dead machines. Once they passed a destroyed tank split in half like a toy. Vrexil plasma did that. Nothing on Earth could stop it. Alira didn't ask questions, but Elias did. "What are you, human? Machine?" She answered without turning. "Born human, made more." "By who?" "Scientists, soldiers, men desperate to win a war they were already losing. And the wings? They grew them on me. Gave me new bones, new senses, new hunger." "Hunger?" She didn't reply. Elias stayed quiet after that. They reached the edge of a broken city just as the sun dipped behind the clouds. The relay post should have been there underground, beneath the shell of an old bank, but it was buried. Rubble everywhere. Buildings collapsed into each other. No power. No life. Elias sat against a broken wall, exhausted. "It's gone," he said. "Just like everything else." Alira walked forward. She placed her hand on the shattered ground. "It is still here." "What?" She pressed her palm down hard. A glow sparked beneath the dirt. Symbols lit up, ancient military seals hidden from satellites and scans. Her hand was the key. The ground shook. A hidden door opened with a deep groan. Stairs led down into a long-forgotten vault. Alira looked at Elias. Come, you said you wanted survivors. He followed, barely able to move. Inside, lights flickered. To life, old generators hummed weakly. Walls were covered in maps, old radio stations, blinking red dots that hadn't moved in years. Then one light blinked green. Signal found, Alira said. Not far, a human beacon. Elias looked at the location. That's Sector 3C, underground city. We used it during the third siege. I thought it was lost. Not lost, she said. Hidden. He looked at her. You want to go there? I must, she said. If humans still breathe, they must see what I've become. Elias frowned. They'll be afraid. Then they will remember. She turned toward the exit, wings folding tight again. Humanity needs its monsters. Elias didn't know what she meant, but something about her voice chilled him. She wasn't just a weapon. She was something else. And now, she was walking back into a world that had buried her alive. The wind howled as they crossed into Sector 3C. What once had been a city was now nothing but crushed concrete and twisted steel. Elias limped beside Alira, his breath shallow, eyes scanning every broken corner. The air was thick with dust and quiet fear. Alira walked without hesitation. Her wings folded tight, armor shifting silently with each step. She had memorized the path in seconds. The signal was growing stronger, pulsing like a heartbeat underground. Do you think they'll even let us in? Elias asked, voice dry. They will not have a choice, Alira replied. Elias gave a bitter smile. That's what I'm afraid of. They reached the edge of a collapsed tunnel, an old tramway that once connected cities before the war. The entrance was buried under decades of debris, sealed during the fourth invasion wave. But something deep below was still alive. Still calling. Alira placed her hand on the exposed metal wall. Her fingers lit up again, brighter this time. The wall shimmered, then slowly peeled open, like a curtain of glass melting away. Elias stepped back in shock. That wasn't human tech. No, Alira said. It was given to humans by something older. The beasts who raised me used similar systems. He looked at her, confused. You said you were raised by beasts? Yes, she said without emotion. After the labs fell, I crawled from the wreckage. The jungle welcomed me. The machines, the animals, the sky, they taught me more than humans ever could. You mean real beasts? Beasts don't lie, she said. Only people do. Elias didn't argue. They entered the tramway. It smelled of rust and wet stone. There. Steps echoed down the long tunnel. After an hour, a light appeared in the distance. Then a gate. Then shadows moving beyond it. Voices. Human voices. Halt! Identify yourself. Someone shouted from behind a barricade. Elias stepped forward, raising both hands. Captain Elias Rain. Human Defense Corps, I'm not alone. Show your face. He stepped under the light. A dozen guns clicked into position. Then Alira followed him into view. A silence swept the tunnel like a wave. The guards froze. What is that? One soldier whispered. She's not your enemy, Elias said quickly. She saved me. She destroyed a cruiser. She's one of us. Alira didn't blink. I am your memory, she said. Your weapon, your failure, and now your only chance. The commander of the checkpoint, a woman in ragged armor, lowered her gun slowly. Her eyes stayed on Alira, wide and unsure. You were in the files, the commander said. Project Archangel. We thought you were dead. I was. Alira answered. They were taken inside. It wasn't much a hidden bunker beneath the earth. About 200 people lived there. Some old soldiers, some children. All thin, all tired. Hope was something they hadn't seen in years. Alira walked among them in silence. Some backed away. Some whispered. Others stared. But no one dared touch her. An old engineer approached Elias in private. We picked up her signal from halfway across the planet, he said. She runs on frequencies we stopped using long ago. Bayo codes, lost languages. Half of our systems recognized her as a command unit. She's more than a unit, Elias replied. She's awake now. And I think she remembers everything. In the central chamber, a large screen flickered. Red marks covered the map enemy locations, strike zones, fallen cities. Only one blue dot blinked now. Alira placed her hand on the console, not suddenly. The map changed. Dozens of hidden locations lit up, old human bases, sealed bunkers, encrypted caches. The network still existed, but only through her. You have the key, the commander said. Staring in awe. I am not the key, Alira replied. I am the door. That night, the underground city came alive. Lights returned. Power surged. Old machines began humming again. Some hadn't worked in decades. Children watched in wonder. Soldiers cried in silence. Hope began to return, but Elias couldn't sleep. He found Alira standing on a balcony near the surface, looking up at the shattered stars. Why did you come back? He asked. I never left, she said. They buried me, but I was always here. What do you want now? She looked at him. To finish what they started. You mean the war? I mean freedom, she said. Not just from the Vrexil, from the fear, from weakness, from forgetting who you were. Elias looked down, and, if we don't want that kind of freedom, Alira spread her wings slowly. Then I will remind you. A distant rumble echoed through the ground. Vrexil scouts were coming. She turned her eyes toward the sound. They will attack soon, she said. We're not ready. She looked at him. You have me. Asterisk. The ground shook again. This time, it wasn't distant. The walls of the bunker vibrated. Dust fell from the ceiling. And warning sirens screamed awake for the first time in years. The map display showed a red flash approaching faster than any human ship. A Vrexil assault pod. Brace for breach. The commander yelled. All units to positions. Elias grabbed his rifle and joined the others. His legs still ached, but adrenaline masked the pain. Around him, men and women scrambled, arming old weapons, locking down doors, hiding the children deeper in the tunnels. Alira stood calmly near the main blast door. Her wings spread once, then folded again, like a hunter preparing to strike. Commander rushed to her. We only have railguns and one plasma turret. If they breach with a troop pod, we're done. Alira didn't blink. Then I will answer first. You can't stop them alone. She looked at her, voice steady. You buried me alive. That didn't stop me either. Outside, the mountain cracked open with fire. A sleek, black pod smashed into the outer gate like a hammer from the stars. Metal screamed. Concrete burst. Vrexil warriors poured out, tall creatures with glistening armor, many-eyed helmets and claws like razors. They moved fast. Too fast. The first human line fell within seconds. Screams echoed through the dark as the aliens advanced, plasma blades burning through defenses. Elias fired into the horde, hitting one in the chest. It didn't fall. He fired again. Still no use. Fall back, he shouted. But before they could retreat, the air split with a thunderous crack. Something shot forward. Fast. Blinding. Slicing. Alira. She hit the lead Vrexil like a meteor. Her wings cut through armor like paper, feathers glowing white-hot. Her hands became claws, tearing limbs, crushing helmets. Her body moved like a blur of death and precision. Every step was fire. Every strike was clean. The aliens hesitated, and that was their mistake. Alira didn't stop. She hunted in 10 seconds. 12 Vrexil were dead. In 20, the rest had fallen back, screaming in their strange language, confused, terrified. She stood, alone in the smoke, covered in glowing blood. Her breathing was slow, measured. The remaining Vrexil turned and fled. The humans didn't cheer. They watched in silence, because what they had seen wasn't human. It was something far older. Far worse. It was on their side. Elias approached slowly, rifle down. "Are you hurt?" he asked. Alira shook her head. "They were slow." "You saved us." "They didn't come for you," she said. "They came for me." "They remember me." Elias frowned. "The Vrexil know what you are?" "They feared me before." "They feared what I was becoming." "Becoming what?" She looked up toward the stars, something that would end them. Later that night, the commander called a council. Survivors from nearby sectors had sent messages. They heard the signal, Alira's signal. They saw the cruiser she destroyed. They saw the sky burn. They were coming out of hiding. Hope was spreading, but so was fear. "She's too powerful," one leader said. "We can't control her." "She could wipe out the Vrexil," another replied. "And if she turns on us?" The room grew silent. Elias stood up. "She hasn't turned. She fought for us. She bled for us. She's not human." "She was once. And maybe that's enough." The commander looked at Alira. She stood in the corner, arms folded, eyes closed, listening. "You hear all this?" the commander asked. "Yes," Alira said without opening her eyes. "And you still want to help us?" "I don't want anything," she replied. "I was made for this, to protect you, to win your wars. I was forged in blood, raised in fire, and taught by the beasts how to survive." The room fell quiet. Then Elias spoke again. "What do you need from us?" Alira opened her eyes. "A beacon," she said. "Not for humans. For those who sleep beneath the earth. Forgotten weapons. Hidden machines. Some of them still wait. Some of them still dream. I can wake them." "You're talking about pre-collapse war tech," said one soldier. "That stuff's dangerous." "So am I," she said, and she turned away. The humans exchanged looks, half awe, half dread. Outside, the stars blinked behind a veil of smoke. War wasn't coming. It had already begun. And their only hope was the very thing they once buried. The air around the bunker felt different now, colder. Still, like the earth itself was holding its breath. Alira stood on a platform built long ago, now lit by weak yellow lights. Below her was a large metal circle, an ancient war beacon hidden under layers of rock. It hadn't been activated in decades. Until tonight. Engineers gathered, unsure of what she was about to do. Wires hummed. Rusted panels sparked to life. A few techs backed away. No one fully understood the system. But Alira did. She knelt and placed her hand on the core. The ground rumbled softly. Initializing pulse. She whispered, calling what remains. A surge of energy exploded upward in a silent blast. It wasn't light. It wasn't sound. It was something deeper, something that spoke to machines still buried, drones still hidden in bunkers, and guardians sealed beneath the crust of Earth. Miles away, across deserts and mountains, systems blinked. Awake. Old robots opened their eyes. Satellites turned. Buried turrets rose from the sand. And something deeper, something forgotten, beneath the Arctic ice opened its shell. Elias watched in silence, feeling the pull of something ancient stir across the land. "What did you just do?" he asked. "I lit the fire again," Alira said. "The forgotten will come." "Do you really think they'll follow you?" "They were built to follow strength," she replied. "I am the last command they recognize." The commander walked over, holding a tablet. "We're receiving signals. At least 6 sites responding. Some were thought destroyed." "They were never destroyed," Alira said. "Just waiting, like me." But far above them, the Vrexil weren't waiting. They were watching. In the orbit beyond the clouded skies, a massive Vrexil command ship turned slowly toward Earth. It was shaped like a blade, miles wide, glowing red beneath its surface. Inside, the alien general clicked its limbs together in anger. They had ignored Earth too long. Now, something had awakened that should have stayed buried. The signal from Alira's beacon had reached them. 2, and they were coming. A storm of fire. In the bunker, Alira stood on the outer wall, staring toward the horizon. In the distance, ships were falling from the sky, more Vrexil pods, black and red, faster than before. They had learned. They were not going to play games this time. They're bringing full force, Elias said, gripping his rifle. They should, Alira replied. It's their last chance. We still don't have enough men. Even with the old machines, we're outnumbered 10-1. That has never mattered to me. You can't fight them alone. Alira looked at him for a long moment. I was never alone. From behind the mountains, shadows began to move. Four-legged machines, hovering drones. Giant walkers with broken symbols from Earth's old nations. They walked like beasts, slow but unstoppable. Covered in vines, dust and rust, but still alive. They had heard the call, and they were answering. Children ran to the edge of the walls, staring in awe. What are those? One boy asked. Angels, a woman whispered. Our angels of war. The commander ordered. The gate opened. The old machines came forward, forming a circle around the base. Some stood still. Others reconnected with the humans, linking to command centers. And above them all, Alira stood, her wings stretched wide, her body glowing from within. She's really going to lead them, Elias muttered. No, the commander replied. She's going to be them. That night, everyone prepared. Old weapons were recharged. Drones were repaired. Tunnels were sealed. The sky turned red as Vrexil pods began to fall like rain. Each one held warriors, each one a strike meant to crush what little hope remained. And still, Alira stood unmoving. Until she finally spoke. When dawn comes, she said, they will throw everything they have. And what will we do? Elias asked. She looked at him. We rise. As the last star faded behind the clouds, the first scream of the Vrexil broke through the mountain air. The final war had begun. And this time, Earth had something it didn't have before. Not just guns, not just soldiers, but a guardian, one forged in war, raised by beasts, and ready to show the galaxy what humanity looked like when it stood with wings. The mountain shook like it was breathing, only this time, it was fear. Vrexil ships blackened the sky. Thousands of warriors rained down, hitting the earth like thunder. Pods tore through stone. Spikes of energy lit the clouds. Plasma fire turned the valley into a storm of chaos. But the humans didn't run. They stood in the cold air, shoulder to shoulder with machines older than memory. They had no air support, no satellites, and barely enough ammo. But they had her. Alira walked calmly across the field. Every step she took, machines followed. Drones hovered behind her. War walkers tracked her movement. The sky cracked open above them, and Alira took flight. Her wings cut through clouds like knives. Vrexil soldiers fired upward, but she dodged everything. She moved like light, like purpose, like rage that had been waiting for too long. She hit the first ship hard. Her claws dug through the hull, tearing it apart from within. Her wings slashed through soldiers, leaving only dust and fire. The vessel collapsed in flames, crashing into the others below. But she didn't stop. One after another, she burned them. From below, Elias watched in disbelief. I've never seen anything like her, the commander whispered beside him. You never will again. Elias said. The battlefield became a stormwings, machines, alien screams, and human defiance. Walkers fired plasma across the valley. Children carried ammo. Old engineers hacked enemy signals to block reinforcements. And through the center of it all, Alira burned. The Vrexil command ship finally entered the atmosphere, its shadow covered the whole mountain. From its center, the alien general dropped twice as tall as the others, armor forged in cosmic fire, 6 blades humming with red light. It landed with a roar that cracked the ground. It turned toward Alira, and for the first time, she slowed. The two stood still, face to face. created by different worlds, forged by different wars. Both unbreakable, you are mistake, the general hissed in broken human tongue. No, Alira said. I am what you fear most. They charged. The battle that followed was not like the others. It was not a fight of armies. It was a clash of titans. Wings and blades. Fire and ice. Earth cracked. Lightning split the sky. Each strike echoed like a god was screaming. Alira moved faster than the eye could follow, but the general was stronger. He landed a blow that sent her flying through stone. Her wings snapped. But she rose. Another blow, this one to her side. Blood, if it was blood, poured from her mouth. Still, she rose. You were not meant to survive, the general roared. I wasn't, she said. But I did. Then she jumped. Wings broken. Armor cracked. She flew anyway. With her last breath, she drove her blade grown from her own arm into the center of the general's chest. The alien screamed once, then nothing. The Vrexil ships above paused. Faltered. Then fell. Their command was gone. The earth was silent again. Only wind, only sky, only smoke. Alira landed hard on the broken field. Her legs collapsed. Her wings were ash now. The fire inside her faded. Elias ran to her, falling to his knees. You did it, he whispered. She blinked slowly. Her voice was soft. Did they see? They saw everything, he said, choking. Up, then I am complete. No, you're not done. You, but she raised a hand. Let me sleep now, you. Protect them. Her eyes closed. The machines around them lowered their weapons. Every human knelt. She didn't move again. But something stayed. The warmth, the spark, the belief that Earth still had one guardian left, even if her wings would never rise again. 1 year later, the city was rebuilt on the same mountain. Children played under her statue carved in silver, wings stretched, eyes forever watching. Machines still walked beside humans now, guided by her last signal. They called the place New Alira, and above the tallest tower, a banner flew. She fell for us. So we must rise. The war was over, but her memory had just begun.